Hey everybody, Dan here with Pain Free You. Today I wanted to talk about this concept of, is your home your safe place or your sick place? So, get to that in a minute. Let's lower the shoulders, slow the breath, smile, know that you're okay. Breathe in the calm and the clarity. Exhale the chaos and the doubt. So, is your home your safe place or your sick place? And I think this comes up a lot. You know, people will say, I don't get it. I went on holiday, I went away for the weekend, I did something, took a vacation. I was engaged in the vacation. I felt actually better than I normally do at home. But when I got home, the symptoms came flooding back hard. And that's a pretty common experience. So let's talk about why that may occur. So subconsciously, the brain recognizes you have likely experienced the most discomfort and suffering at home. Why? Because if you're not feeling well, you end up, in many cases, staying home from work, staying home from events, staying home from gatherings. And so home becomes this place where the brain associates suffering. And so it's very common. So what do we do about that, though, right? How do we change it to our safe place? Because if we really objectively, intellectually look, our home is the safe place, right? And that's why we stay there when we're not feeling well, because that seems safer than the outside world. So how can we kind of shift this subconscious brain perception that home is where we suffer? Well, clarity. Recognize. Make a decision, but recognize that there's nothing uniquely special about the home that causes us to have more symptoms. Now, look, there may be cases, with mold that I understand that fear connection. So let's set that aside. That's probably a topic for a different conversation. But in general, I had back pain for 13 years, and the vast majority of time I would stay home. I didn't stay home all the time. I had to work, and I did do, life, but I hurt. And I made every mistake possible that kept me in pain. But there was an association that home is where I hurt. Laying in bed is where I would try to avoid the hurt. Going down the basement on the carpet and trying to stretch is where I would try to fix myself, right? Doing all sorts of different stretches. And so home was where I hurt, where I struggled. And it's a normal association because much of our suffering is done at home. So how do we change that? I think it comes with a decision to say, I'm going to start teaching my brain that I'm okay. And it's interesting. Not to call anybody out, but a person in my group coaching said something that, I get out and I do errands and I get out of the house. I run away from my house as much as possible. And that really, inspired me to do this video today. And come to find out, this particular person felt that their home was their sick place. And let's reframe that. Let's decide and start conveying more consistently that it's not our sick place. Objectively, intellectually, it is our safe place. And yes, while we may have experienced the vast majority of our symptoms at home, and we avoid the outside world by staying at home, let's reframe it as our safe place, as our sanctuary, if you will. I've had a similar conversation in the realm of insomnia, because some people view their bed as their torture chamber where they lay awake, unable to sleep. And I think oftentimes reframing it, that our bedroom is our sanctuary. It's where we get peace and can be comfortable and relax and rest, right? So I didn't want this to become an insomnia video, but the concept applies there as well as it does for other things. And it's a common experience for people to do better when they're out and about. And then they come home and sometimes it's a whammo. And the symptoms are like, hey, welcome back. Or, oh no, I'm going home. So the one thing you can do is to start expecting differently, slightly better. Let's say you go out and your normal expectation when you go home is, oh no, it's going to get bad when I get home. Let's change that expectation. Let's proactively start to expect that because this is my safe place, my sanctuary, if you will, I expect to do better at home than I have been. And it's a subtle shift, but it's a major shift at the same time. We are reframing our conscious, intelligent opinion of our home as a place where I can be comfortable and relax and care for myself. Right? So we expect the best. And if symptoms do show up when we get home, whether it be from a trip to the grocery store or, a vacation, how we respond to that is key. Again, expectations, response. Let's expect things to be slightly better each time. Let's expect that we can respond better and better each time. We don't have to be perfect. We don't have to expect that we'll never, ever experience symptoms at home, because the brain kind of calls BS on that. But we can expect a little better each time. That becomes believable. If you want a little bit more on that concept, search Pain-Free You Soften, Soften, and you will find a video on YouTube with that topic, and I go deeper into that. So how do we actually change the perception of our home from my place of sickness and suffering to one of safety, almost a sanctuary, where I find peace and recovery? Starts with a decision. Now, there may be things that you can do to kind of create that environment, whether it be little yellow sticky notes with things that remind you, I'm okay, I'm good, I'm safe enough, I'm not broken, I can do this, just watch me. Those types of things, hang them on the mirrors, hang them on the refrigerator, hang them on the front door as you come in. Remind yourself of these things that you want the brain to start believing in, because these little things do matter, right? I also had one person tell me that from trying to get out of bed rest back to living life, one of the things they did was make their bedroom more comfortable. New pillows, new blankets. Now that seems like it's counterintuitive, like that might encourage you to stay in bed longer. But they started to view it as their place to recover and give them more resilience and capacity to get up and start resuming life. That can also be very useful for insomnia. Make your bed comfortable. Change the sheets. Put a new comforter on. Fluff up the pillows. Make sure that when you get into bed, you're comfy. So, how do you make your home your safe place instead of your sick place? It's a decision, and start to proactively teach your brain that we're shifting this, we're reframing it. I'm no longer going to call my house my sick place. I'm not going to run from it, because to me that says I'm afraid of this house and I got to get out. And if you want to go out and engage in life, do that. But I think engaging in life is a much better frame than run from a home or distract from my symptoms. No, make living your life more important than your symptoms, than fixing them and avoiding them. Live your life. Bring your symptoms along for the ride, because it's likely if you go out, you may have symptoms until your brain gets the right message. But sitting at home, you'd likely have symptoms anyway. So at least you're out doing things and engaging your brain in reality, outdoors, living life, doing things. Try to have some, do fun things with people you like, right? That kind of stuff can go a long way towards showing your brain you're actually okay. So I hope this all makes sense. Make your home your safe place, your sanctuary, if you will. And if you find yourself calling it your sick place and running away from it because you don't like being there, see what you can do to proactively change that story and start to expect that you can feel better and better at home. And that's what I got for you today. Hope everybody is well. Love you, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.